right, it is BC Hunter back once again with the nightmare himself, Jay Myers, and we are kicking off November to Remember, Battle of the Megapods or Battle of the Superpods 2, whatever we want to call it. And we are starting off hot because we're bringing in one of our favorite podcasts that we like to watch and sometimes join. It's the Smacked Raw Pod, and it is Kai Tai at the Kai Tai Show and RN at Mr. 8984 joining us today.
Yes,
how you doing, gentlemen?
Hey, that's how you guys brought us on here. Okay,
right. That's right.
You've been blackballing us for how long now?
No curtain jerkers on this show, boys. No curtain jerkers on this show.
I didn't even realize how many times BC's been on the show because of the fucking mask.
That's the plan. You keep thinking you're booking different guests each time.
Just like I mentioned how I talked to you twice on Twitter, not realizing I'm talking to the same person on two different accounts.
Right.
Tag the same guy twice.
Trust me, I'm starting to feel like I've got split personality anyways, because I'm like talking from both of them. I'm like, I really should be using the WWTT because that's promoting the show. But it's
right.
Like,
that's okay.
I run into the same issue, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. I'm so bad at Twitter that I go on there every couple days, get all those follows, and I try to do the follow back. But the last day I did it, it was like 4 bots, and I got the same message from 4 bot, like naked women bot profiles in the message. It was literally like word for word verbatim the same message.
Oh my God, that's so horrible. Go ahead and forward me their text.
Links included.
I keep getting podcast cover art or podcast promotion is the two that I get hit with. So you're getting a little bit different crowd.
Yeah. I get this whole. I think I get like the crypto crowd. Let me see here. I'll read out what's my last 2 pending because I don't delete them now. I keep them up just in case. Oh God, no. Yeah, that one was like a collab. And then no, okay, never mind. I don't know. Yeah, one of them was crypto though. One of them is like, you got a cool crypto opportunity.
Crypto is just everywhere.
That's what I've been getting. The crypto, like, would you like to earn? No, bye.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, you can pay into it soon, thanks to Elon, and you'll be able to just be blue check marked.
Hey, look, man, are any of you on Snapchat?
No.
Yes, I
get spammed on Snapchat.
Oh, it's brutal
every day now.
It's everywhere though. Instagram, TikTok, you're getting all these follows, and it's just crypto people. It's just like literally.
Well,
and they're mean, man. They suck you in with those like hot picture profile pictures, man.
Yeah. With the Snapchat one, it's always like someone will add me, and then it's literally they'll send me like hello, and then I swear it's the same person. I'm telling you, it is the same person just messaging me a million times because they'll say like hi. It's a half naked picture of a girl, and then before I can tell them that I'm like 12 or something, like I get like 32 pictures and then their OnlyFans link, and so, yeah.
Marketing in 2022, right?
Right.
We are off to a hot start. I love it.
Start for November.
This is a traditional the rewind start of a show.
Yes,
where we talk about anything except wrestling.
Well, we have to remind people, like, yes, this is a wrestling show.
We're not far off that usually.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid wrestling, I guess. It's the problem, right? Well, as we mentioned, we're jumping into our new tradition, I guess. It's for our American friends, it's a Thanksgiving tradition since it's November. It's November to Remember, where we like to bring on some of our favorite podcasting friends each episode we do during the month. So, of course, you guys are kicking off. We're going to have the next week some of your Smacked Raw cohorts, as you like to call it. We're going to have Ted the Hillbilly Heel and Will Gray from Botch Spots and Chair Shots. And by the way, I could listen to an entire episode of Ted just pronouncing Botch Spots and Chair Shots. It's always enjoyable. But we got a couple other guests coming. I know friends of yours as well. Matt Ritter might be joining us from Smacking It Raw. And also, what's the horror show that he's doing now?
Oh, God, I have it here. You guys might know before I can pull it up, but hang on.
If you said it, I would know.
Yeah, it's not.
I think it's called Getting Offed. Like they all have like undertones to them, right?
Of course, that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's Getting Offed.
Yeah. I mean, Dude, he leans so hard in that Pornhub gimmick.
Like, I don't even know how that works. How do they have podcasts on Pornhub?
Well, so it's the funny thing about Pornhub. I'm gonna start speaking as the expert. For a while, I remember this making waves when YouTube was essentially doing like its adpocalypse and like demonetizing like its almost entire platform. Mm-hmm. There was this big movement of people to put their stuff on Pornhub. Not saying that's why Matt Ritter moved his podcast there, but Pornhub now, not that I would know, but Pornhub has a lot of non-adult related content on there. Like a lot of people will post their video game streams and stuff like that on there. Interesting. Matt you'd be better to ask him, but I'm assuming the guy just did it like as a gimmick. Was like, what's the catch? You know what I mean? And he's rolled with it for years.
Well, I guess there's no shortage of eyeballs on that platform.
No,
so...
I mean,
there's definitely balls on there.
That's awesome.
Oh man, yeah. Well, that'll be an interesting conversation. And to finish it off, we're also going to have the boys from the Armchair Booking podcast. So that should be entertaining. Another friend of Ted the Hillbilly Heels. And then a gentleman from a podcast called Hooked on Movies, who's a major wrestling fan. Their podcast isn't about wrestling. It's actually about movies, but he's a big wrestling fan. So we're excited to maybe chat about some of our favorite wrestling movies, or maybe some of the worst wrestling movies might be the better way to go about it, or movies starring wrestlers. I don't know. What's your favorite movie starring a wrestler, guys?
I love the cheesy cameos that wrestlers will often do. The one that comes to mind the most is a ton of wrestlers from WWE at the time cameoed on that SNL skit that was made into a movie. MacGruber.
Oh, MacGruber. Yeah.
Jericho comes out. I think the only two that come to mind is like Jericho and the Great Khali, but there was like a van full of wrestlers, and they're supposed to be like this big squad, like a professional like military squad. That was going to help MacGruber in his cause, and then the van blows up and kills them all in one go. I love that junk, dude. So I love the cheesy cameos. As far as like, I don't know. I mean, is it
even in doubt? It's Ready to Rumble. Obviously, it's the only movie that we should ever talk about.
I actually like Rampage with Rock. That's probably
Rampage.
I literally watch that movie probably once a month or more. I really shouldn't, but
I have not been able to force myself to watch that movie. Like that's like the
only
Rock
fucking
movie
bad.
I cannot make myself watch, no matter what, dude.
It's really not bad, and it's not. It's The Rock playing with every role he plays in every movie, but it's a little bit different.
Which is the only thing he can do, but he's still amazing at it. Yeah.
But this one is different because he's like an animal conservationist. You know what I'm saying? Like anti-poacher. So it's like. It's actually kind of fucking dope. I love it. Like I said, I literally watch it like once a month because it's like HBO always just reminds me, "Hey, dummy, you didn't watch this month. Why not watching it?"
You gotta get your fix in. Yeah, for me, I think if I'm being serious, it would be The Wrestler. Like that one was pretty. That was a pretty badass movie. I can't remember when that came out, but it was a few years ago now, I guess. But
it's probably over 10 years at this point.
It's more than that, I think.
I'll be your Jamie.
15 maybe. Yeah, but anyway, that was just because it was like I don't know, the other one. Yeah, so like to me that was the only movie that actually pulled the curtain back and was like a real movie about the real life kind of stuff, right? But anyway, I don't even think there's that many out there, is there? There's not that many professional wrestling movies out there, is there?
There's a few out there, but it's not like there's a litany of Oscar nominated ones that you can
movies or football movies or anything like that. Yeah,
I gotta say, I mean, No Holds Barred it's got to be a classic.
That's what I was gonna say myself.
You gotta add that in there, yeah.
But for a Rock movie, for a Rock movie, I really enjoy Walking Tall. Actually,
that's one of his best. Yeah, that's one of his best.
That was before he became like the size of a fridge, right? You know what I mean?
Well, do you remember what happened? So like, I can remember this because it was like my vital 20s or whatever. But like, he left the WWE, shrunk down, did that stuff. Then shrunk down even more to do like Disney type movies. Do you guys remember that? And like
the Tooth Fairy and all that.
The Tooth Fairy always comes to mind. How is like that such a that should be the most forgettable damn movie.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's because The Rock. You know what it was? It was the first time The Rock cried on camera.
It's
Yeah,
one of
I bet you
Disney's
that's-
highest grossing movies though, like overall, because it is
Yeah.
what's so bad and
Yeah.
like rewatch to it, like it actually did really well. Like
But it worked out
financially.
for everybody because he went with this strategy of like, I'm going to do comedies and this and that. And then it like 5 years into like, wait, this isn't working. You got to go back to being just jacked up action star guy. And he hasn't done one of those movies since, right? Like he's only done. And like, I don't know why actors try and get out of their lane. Stay in your lane and do it really well. Like that's it's a good formula.
What are you saying? Are you saying you didn't like Mark Wahlberg in The Happening, where he played like a high school like science teacher?
Yeah, no.
You know?
I still don't understand the ending of that movie, to be honest. But
It was
Worst-
the trees.
Worst
the
movie
trees,
ever.
man.
Oh man, I was mad after I got done
They-
that movie.
They literally were running from the wind.
yeah,
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
movie. If you
I
don't
wish I
remember,
could do a Mark Wahlberg impression because there's a guy I watch for like horror movies and he does them so good. It's just like it's such a good impression if you can do it. But
I went and took a date to that and literally made out for half the movie, so I didn't really miss much.
I
Well,
remember
it's a good
watching the
movie.
previews like this
It's a
is good
good movie,
because that hit at the prime age in me where like the bloodlust was at its peak. Like I had stopped watching wrestling. I'm watching UFC. And I was like, oh, I can't wait. Just like all these people fucking dying and stuff. And then it's just like Mark Wahlberg acting like he's sorry he hurt this old woman's feelings. And stuff. Like,
yeah, the range is there from Mark, isn't it?
Mm. RN's like Seinfeld making out during Schindler's List.
That's all the movies was for, because I didn't have my own place. And
There you go, man. That's a good
How you
venue
doing,
for
man?
that. Yeah.
So it was the happening then, really.
yeah,
Nice.
Should
All
we
right.
actually get into some?
I
some
think
meat
we
and
should do the
potatoes
whole
here?
episode like this.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
I like
I'm
it.
not mad
no,
at
that's
like
how
it.
me and
Random
RN
stuff.
do. We just sprinkle wrestling in as a formality.
I know. That's how I feel.
I keep telling him our best shows are when we don't have 20 damn things on the whiteboard, where we
Wow.
literally just shoot the shit and figure it out, and then sprinkle some wrestling
Well,
in.
It's funny. It's a good time because neither one of us, I was away for work and sort of didn't have access to even watch anything. And I'm just getting caught up now. And I think BC's slowly catching up too. So it's like we don't even have the pulse the last week or so. But anyway, we'll
All I
see
know
what
is
happens.
Sammy is knocking it out of the park. And,
Yes.
yeah.
I did
you
get
guys-
caught up
did
on
you guys see the
SmackDown and
stuff?
Raw.
Did y'all see that on
Yeah.
SmackDown? His segments.
Oh, where you
yeah.
like made them lose it. Yeah.
He broke all
Yeah.
three members.
And
Dude, it was a struggle for Roman on Raw last night.
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
just
it
because
wasn't
the
a struggle.
crowd
He
was
just
still-
laughed. He
Yeah.
just laughed. He didn't even try and hide it or
No.
stop it. Like he let it go. Like he knew it. And I like the gray in his beard. I just realized he stopped.
I was
using
gonna
it
say
just
the
for
same
men.
thing. Friday, I'm watching Friday. I'm like, what the hell? He's got gray in his beard, which obviously is not a Triple H rule anymore. But
Right. Yeah.
but like, kudos to Heyman for even bringing that segment back on. Like he was straight face at the end there. Like you could just see him like finish it off that segment because they were all out to lunch. They were
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, man. It always anytime I see Heyman now, all I think about is I don't know if you ever saw the clip of him talking about how it was the time that he learned that you he went on he had like what he thought was like a great promo. But then when he got backstage, like feeling all high and mighty, Vince like had told him like you didn't sell anything, like you didn't sell the pay-per-view, you didn't sell nothing. And Heyman realized, and he said he credited that moment to realizing, like, you know, what are you selling? Like when you're out cutting these legendary promos. So anytime that you see all that laughing, and then Heyman comes in, and he brought
Circles
it back.
it back.
Yeah, that's all I could think. I was like, yep, like Heyman's like a fine oil, like
Master.
a machine, man.
Yeah.
When it comes to
The best part about that was I think Sammy legitimately didn't he didn't do that. Like I don't think he set out to break them, but he literally just popped in the Ucey thing because you could see the way he was standing there. He was just like, "Oh God, they're losing it here."
Yeah, he looked
he did not
genuinely scared that he popped
he
them.
was actually like freaking out a little bit. It was like, "Oh God, what did I just do?" kind of thing.
I think he was worried that he popped Roman. I think was the biggest one, right?
Oh,
yeah.
My God.
well, it was supposed to be like one of the most serious turning points in the storytelling. Like Jay just dropped the line. I don't give a damn
about
what the tribal chief
Yeah.
says. Okay, so that is like one of the most dramatic
It's
points
true.
in this long-term story. And now we have all the guys laughing like they're way off tone for what was originally scripted.
But
I'd probably be scared too. Like,
yeah, fair enough. But I think Roman
Yeah.
did a good job of bringing it sort of back while he was still
Right.
sort of breaking it. He did bring it back into a little bit. It made the segment made sense, I guess. At the end of the day, it did still work. I thought the segment, but it was
well. I guess
funny as hell.
what we talked about on the rewind was eventually getting Kevin Owens in, but I guess all the reports are
this
shit is done so good that they pushed it back. So
is he hurt though, RN? Is he just off TV?
No, I think he's just off TV because he had a couple matches.
Still doing live shows according to
and he had a match on NXT a few weeks ago, like maybe a week or two ago. He had an NXT match, but I guess the original plan was for the Sammy shit only to last like a month or so, but it's been going so good. So then they pushed back, bringing Kevin Owens into it, but they didn't.
Good for
supposedly
Sammy,
no one knows when, but they just know that it's on pause. It's gonna happen, but it's on pause.
Well, it just goes to show like it's an actual organic angle that's popping out of this one. And then it's going to be an organic turn when he finally does. It's going to be amazing. Like the crowd is going to come unglued.
What did you guys think of the, for those who saw Raw, what did you think of the sort of Seth Rollins babyface tease? Like not only just from their booking angles, but the change in look, the move set was a little different from Seth. Like they were clearly teasing a babyface Seth in that match.
I hate it because they never get it right, and I don't know if he's comfortable being that. As much as he's the greatest guy and everybody loves him, and he's everybody's best friend, but on TV it never translates. Like I think they should have just let him be in a heel and let the crowd cheer him.
But I agree, Aaron. But has he ever really had a good, dedicated, distinct run as a baby that he could?
No, because he can't get on. That's my point.
Like, I don't know the singing.
They never find the right motivation for him.
No, that's
the motivation never makes sense.
Yeah,
right. He can't get it off the ground when he's a baby. When he's a baby face, like, and I don't think he ever really went against a good heel either to play off of.
The difference now, though, the difference now is I think they have that now. They have Theory. They have so many guys on Raw that they could throw in there and do that. Like even Miz, if you want to. The crowd's eating out of the palm of his hand.
They never. I
hear you, but I think that's changed. I would be normally with you on that because of the history, but I think he's there right now. I think he could easily run with it.
I mean, he's
now,
my favorite.
Cody coming back changes that. Cody coming back changes that,
that's
right?
Another thing too. Like, what is that going to look like when Cody's back?
I think with certain characters, certain characters just give off that impression of what role they should be in. Cody Rhodes, for the most part, is a white meat babyface. I know he can do a heel, but like his bread and butter is the babyface stuff. I think when it comes to like heels and even babyface, when you have a guy that leans so far one side, like naturally, that person should only be brought to like a tweener role and let them dip in and out of doing good and bad things depending on what it facilitates. Because you also have to take into consideration, like when you have people who've been dickheads for years straight, and then all of a sudden they've found this undeserved passion for doing good, and then just ignoring all the like trying to sweep under the rug of what they've done in the past, acting like they're a completely new person and persona. It never makes sense. You can just have a guy come out and say, "Hey, I've been in a good mood for the last couple of weeks." You know what I mean? Just don't get in my bad side, and I won't have to try to maim you like I'm known for doing. I think the person that what's the word here? I've just
exemplifies.
Exemplifies. You had it.
Thank you. I think the person that exemplifies that the most is Randy Orton. Everyone still considers Randy Orton a snake, and so does Randy Orton. Yeah. However, Riddle stayed on his good side for so long. He hasn't had a reason to be a dick, but he's still the same Randy Orton. Like there hasn't been like this, I'm a good guy, and I'm sorry everybody I betrayed in the past. It's still the same character.
And the thing with Seth is he hasn't done anything to be a babyface. We just love his theme song. Like he hasn't saved anyone.
True. And especially in this regime, we're not going to forget stuff. So like Vince would have just said, no, you guys don't remember that. I'm telling you, it didn't happen.
Right.
That's not going to be the case now. Jesus, on Raw, they even referenced Nikki ASH in Nikki Cross's match and said like she won the belt as Nikki ASH. I was like, am I in Bizarro World? That would never happen before, right? It just wouldn't.
It's tying up the loose ends. Yes, and that was something I was going to bring up about Seth with the babyface run is, remember, Vince was booking his babyface run the whole time. He's giving you all this cheesy shit to throw in there. But let's see what Triple H gives him. Like, you're right, guy. You need there has to be something there as to why he did that.
Yeah.
same as the heel turn. You
The
can't
only
just have a
thing
guy turn heel.
you could just leverage Becky though, could you not? Becky
could,
in and of
yeah.
itself is a baby face sort of attachment.
But she's coming
for
back
Seth,
as a
right?
baby face too. I
That's what
imagine.
I just
yeah.
mean. So you could tie that in. You could tie
I
that
look
in.
at Seth as Triple H. Like they're amazing. We love them, but to me, and Triple H is my GOAT. He's my favorite wrestler all time.
As a heel.
He was always a better heel. You're right.
I don't even remember a good Triple H
Yeah.
like babyface run.
Yeah.
Besides
When,
when doing the
when-
lame ass DX shit, like besides
when
that,
Randy
like,
Orton was like breaking into his house and then like tongue raping his wife in front of him.
right,
I think
you can still kind of feel sorry for Randy though.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just don't see Seth as a babyface in any way. Like
it's a good point.
he's too good. He's too good looking. Like
Also-
if they did it right, they might be able to do it. But you're right; it's going to take a lot of good creative to make that happen.
Just like all you have to do is instead of trying to create this whole newfound persona, you pair them up with people who the crowd dislikes more. You know what I mean? If you pair him up with Austin Theory, he's going to get Rollins is going to get cheered. Austin Theory is going to get booed. You have your heel face dynamic, and you don't have to change Seth's character. You're getting him cheered without causing too much like kookiness with the damn character. You know what I mean?
Want a power couple with him and Becky as heels.
Yeah.
Stop trying to manifest that. All right.
I mean, they literally dress like supervillains every goddamn show. Like,
all you're gonna do is you're gonna get Triple H, Stephanie McMahon 2.0.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes, that's exactly what I
No,
want.
It's not a bad
we
thing,
do
though.
not want that. No, sir.
But is your power couple possibly? And could you see Cody come back and a turn from Cody and Brandy and him be your power
fuck
couple?
off, BC.
No, Brandy's been
Brandy
Brandy's been
off.
putting
Brandy's
the work
trash.
in.
I don't
Brandy's
want
been
her.
putting
I
the
don't
work
want
in.
her on there, but I'm just saying.
I know I'm the black guy that pulls the race card and everything, but like of all the black women on TV, Brandy is my
Why
least
do you
favorite.
hate
Like I do
Brandy
not
so
want to
much?
see her.
Why do you hate Brandy? I
Dude, I
never
feel-
thought
I
that he was
like,
deserved.
does she
Does
she
reason why I hate
feel
her
like
is
she's trying to
Be
appropriate
black. Yes,
culture?
she's trying to play like she's black. Like,
Okay,
none of
fair.
it made any sense, and you could tell like how she was saying shit, like calling people bitches like every week and all that.
Yeah.
Like it felt like for shizzle. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the Dave Chappelle skit when they draft
No,
Tiger
that's fair.
Woods. Like it like I never. Honestly, I feel like Cody Rhodes is blacker than Brandy. If I'm being honest,
Dude, no, let's not
I'm-
put that out there.
No,
into the
yes, he
ether,
was.
man.
listen what I'm saying. Like when Cody talks and like his mannerisms and everything outside of the ring, he has more flavor and more, I guess, street edge, if that's what
Yeah.
you whites want to call it. Like I feel it more from him than I do from Brandy, and she's fucking black. Like I just always have. I'm sorry. Like I don't know. I just never got it with her. Like
She doesn't feel
That's
authentic.
fair. She probably was trying too hard in AEW. I just mean, I think she took a lot of shit for just being the boss of like the women or whatever. If she cut that shit out and just was
Right.
like a female valet sort of wrestler, normal, we don't attach that like whatever, you know what I mean? She was doing in AEW to it. I think she's talented. I really do.
I
And
think
she
she's
showed
awesome
it in
on
the
the
ring
mic.
a lot of time.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
she's
mean, if you could
excellent on the
probably-
mic.
You could probably treat her like how Lana was to Rusev. Like that
Yeah.
was
Right.
a prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a prime
Great
female
use.
valet. When
Yeah.
Lana was next to Rusev, I felt like that was such a great couple.
The only reason why I want to see them together, they can kind of figure out a way to erase that culturally fucking death promo that the two of them did when the baby was being born. Like, because that is something that we've never really seen in
when
wrestling.
Cody defeated racism.
Right. I mean, besides like Lana and Bobby, we've never seen like an actual real interracial couple in wrestling. Like,
And I
Did
honestly
his dad
like-
have Sapphire, so it's like, really, Cody?
I feel bad because like I really, and I mean, if I'm interpreting this correctly, I feel like that was genuinely how Cody felt.
Oh,
I felt like that is genuinely how he felt, how he really felt. But like the delivery and
They
then
played
just
it up
how
for
it
sure.
how
They played
it
it
how
up.
it was played out
like I
was
totally
just
believe
missed
that.
the mark.
Yeah, I totally believe that he's like not racist and like wants his daughter to have the best of both worlds. Like I have mixed children, I understand it, but the way that it came off and the way that people used it, like it just wasn't. It was culturally insensitive.
it was-
And tone deaf
Let's
as
be
fuck.
honest.
Yeah.
Tony doesn't shy away from that shit. Look at the whole Brody Lee
Right,
stuff.
right.
We've had the biggest issue with how they've used his son and his wife and all
Yeah,
and all that
whoring him
shit.
out. Like, that
yeah,
makes me sick
exactly.
to
And
my
that's the
stomach.
same idea. Tony pump that promo up quite a bit to
Right.
just make it over the top. Like, yeah, I agree. I think it was just clearly
The tone,
Yeah.
from
it was
the message
deaf.
got
Tone
the
deaf.
the
It was
message
tone
got
deaf, yeah.
lost in the execution,
right.
I agree.
and in how it was, and actually how it was,
Because that is a good thing and like something that could be played upon. Like, I know that's the thing with wrestling. You always got to find a little niche and play on, but like we really haven't seen an actual legit interracial couple that really is married and has kids. Like, it's always a white dude, a white woman thrown with a big black dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they kiss on TV, but like this is real life. Like they really have.
This one's one for the whites. Okay,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, so like we never really get to see anything like that, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Picture that in a WWE storytelling arena, right? And like you eliminate the sort of ratchety stuff that she was doing in AEW or whatever, and actually be able to tell a good storytelling. And I think honestly, I think that'd be fantastic.
There's potential,
especially with Seth and Becky. Especially with Seth and Becky.
I have more faith now that it's Triple H in charge of that than if it had been Vince. So like I will
totally
give you. I will. All right, I'll swing over to your side on that because it is Triple H now, not Vince. So like, because you know that's what it would end up being if it was Vince.
I love
Vince would be the first one to have like Cody teasing he was going to say the N-word on air. Using his wife as a technical shield. Yes,
I looking like Chip and LaFonda and shit.
I love how her answer to everything. Well, it's Triple H.
Man.
Listen, but that's a good point you say that, because I don't know about you guys. I mean, I don't think it's all been sunshine and lollipops. So there's some genuine criticism about like the tag division of the women's is taking a bit of a step back too. They're still trying to figure that shit out, I think. And like, I think even Triple H would go on right now and say like, there's still lots that I'm working on here. Right. I mean, it's not, but BC and I have said this in a few shows. Overall, the tone and the feel is 18 million times better, in my opinion, than what we had in the. Yeah, absolutely. Is there going to be things that they always need to work on? 100%. But I think they're going. The ship is pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, I was for Busted Open. They were actually having the same conversation. They were like, Bubba Ray was like, it was just an episode of Raw, but at this point in time, compared to what we've been getting, like there's nothing wrong with that. Like there was some good stuff, there was some bad stuff, and he was pretty much saying what I believe too is I think Triple H is kind of just filling everybody out to kind of see what he has. Like I don't think he's picked anybody out that he's really throwing everything behind to get going. I think
because it's not even been 6 months, right? I mean, really.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and
SummerSlam was the first official like Triple H show.
And even that, he came in right before something. What was it like?
And
2
didn't
weeks
change
before?
Everything was already set up for him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
A little bit. He flew Dakota Kai there.
Well, that's
you
true.
know what I mean? You know what I mean? He flew Dakota Kai.
That's what I'm saying.
There was
like,
a couple little
he's putting his
touches.
people in place. But I mean, like, I don't think he's actually gave everybody the full Vince treatment, like what Vince did with a Theory. You know what I'm saying? Where like, this is my guy. We're gonna push him this way, and I'm gonna be on to you. Like, I don't think Triple H has anybody on the roster that he's really thrown everything behind. I think he's kind of just like wading through to kind of see who gets over, who he can use here, who he can move here, who he can place there, take away from there. You know what I'm saying? I think it's all. I think he's still throwing jabs. I don't think he's throwing a knockout punch.
Agreed. And look at like how he's brought Omos back in the picture, and like nobody's a giant Omos fan, but he's putting him back in slowly.
Right.
Like he's slow building.
There's always a place for people like that. Too.
Absolutely.
You know
and like he put him back when he did bring him back on TV was to squash guys and do the
right way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like even the guys that aren't Triple H guys, he's bringing them back in slowly to kind of feel them out, like you say, RN, and see what he's got. Right. I mean, he's a monster. You got to like. I think people thought he was going to be like totally the inverse of Vince, but you can't because it's the giant that is WWE. They have all of these different stakeholders that they have to please, and some of those people want giants like Omos and whatever else, right?
And Triple H is not dumb. I mean, just look how he did NXT. It was something for everybody. There was comedy, there was horror, there was straight, like, you know what I'm saying, 5-star wrestling. Like, he knows what he's doing. I think he's just kind of setting up his ducks in a row till he figures out who his teams are going to be on each show. Because even NXT, like I'm been watching NXT, like it's still, I don't want to say disjointed, but it still doesn't feel like that it's switched over to not being at 2.0.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
But it's not 2.0 at the same time. That's why This transition. All of this is the transition.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's transition. Good segue there into Crown Jewel. But my point is, I want to bring up first is, how do we see Bray interacting at Crown Jewel? Because he's obviously doesn't have a match, but all of this Bray shit is so interesting. And like, what is that gonna be in that?
He'll be out there.
They blocked out for Bray.
No, dude. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna be cutting a promo. Uncle Howdy's gonna interrupt and say, essentially, like, you're a fake, and you need to be put down. And Uncle Howdy's got the poison to do it. And then Goldberg's music's gonna hit, and Goldberg's gonna come out and squash him again.
Bury him, squash him.
Exactly what's gonna happen.
And Goldberg enters Sahaba Nagila as well, right?
But are you guys
Saudi
like me,
Arabia.
though? Like, apart from the Aleister Black stuff, which it can't be because we know he's still under contract, but like, how are they going to do this shit if it's clearly Wyndham Rotunda in that voice? Because it was clearly him in the Howdy mask doing the promo. Yeah, absolutely was.
Sure?
So how are they going to do this? Like, how are they going to do both?
I said that he's going to be all of them. I said that on the rewind last night.
But how are you going to do that in real life in the arena if they just never bring them all together at once?
I think they do, but they'll be under mask and shit, not say anything, like kind of like they did when they brought him out.
That's true.
I don't know what to do with Bray. Like I deferred to Kyle about it on the rewind. Like, who do you put him up with? Like, who do you put him against? Like, who is ready?
It blew up the internet when they said they were going to put him with Roman, and everybody lost their damn fucking mind. But obviously,
like, he should be as far as
agreed. And reports then came out and said, no, that wasn't actually the case. They thought about it, but now anyway. But
my thing is, like, who do you do it? Like, we were talking about that last time. Like, there's no one that I think could stand up to where you think it would even be decent. Like, because they haven't really built anybody up, and they're in the process of building everybody. But like.
Or is it the case? Or is it the case where we're going to get 3 months of him internally struggling, right? Like, is it going to be 3 months of that before he even gets an opponent, right?
Didn't you say wasn't that the initial like to get to Cody?
Well, the initial reports, wasn't it? They have a story for him all the way to WrestleMania.
Yes, that's what I read as well. Yeah, it's already planned and pre-booked and everything.
So the way it came to mind is kind of like what RN said, is if you pose the question like who's ready for Bray to even have a feud with, and if you come up with nobody, the next logical answer is you just bring somebody into WWE that's not an active roster member. Right. You know what I mean? You bring, not only did you bring Bray back, but you bring in a foe for Bray, and you got two new characters, and that way that whoever that character is, that's the spoils, can start fresh, and you don't have to worry about trying to tie it in to Bray all of a sudden being back. Which could lend itself to, I mean, I know the shallow, low-hanging fruit answer is always going to be Bo Dallas. It seems to be the one reoccurring person everybody wants to be brought in. And I'm not going to lie, I'm one of them. I saw Bo Dallas right before the B team. He put on a couple pounds. He grew his hair was all scruffy, and he started acting a little unhinged. And I was like, dude, he's exactly like right in line with Bray. Yeah. But WWE didn't lean into it, and we got the B team afterwards. And so the potential's there for Bo. But I mean, there's a lot of other people out there that could come in, that could be play opposite to Bray, I think. So,
or even guys down in NXT that we don't even know they haven't debuted, like Strowman and stuff. We didn't even see Strowman on TV before they brought him up and threw him in the Wyatt family, right? I mean, like they could be those scenarios. To me, it has to be sort of another big character guy, right? It can't be it can't be a Ziggler or Matt Cardona or whatever. Like, it's got to be a guy who is a character, not a technical wrestler, right? Like that. To me, that would be the most entertaining. But he doesn't always have to face those guys. But I think for the first feud, you want to make it so over the top with the theatrics of it that.
The only person that came to mind, I can't believe I'm even saying this shit.
It's R-Truth, right?
No, Apollo Crews, like with this like weird, Superman, Clark Kent thing he's got going on at NXT.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
No, I don't either. I don't
see it happening. I'm just saying, like, as far as like a character that currently that we have that could kind of juxtapose what Bray's doing, like, and that's like everyone else is there. There's no, can't think of anybody else.
Like, I can't. Well, I can. The perfect answer is Aleister Black, but he's not. Available, right? I mean, that's
so they say.
Yeah, fair.
Tony Khan
Tony is okay to not release guys people like if Tony doesn't release it, it's okay, guys. It's only if WWE doesn't
Well,
release guys.
there
right?
is one. There is one more, Jay. What about a certain Charles Montgomery Punk?
Dude.
God.
After he gets
Please
his
no.
bios. After he
Please
gets
What
his
about-
bios.
Please
Hey,
no.
what about WWE's like reoccurring therapist, Dr. Shelby? know?
Well, when they showed that picture with the weird eye, it could have been Kane.
yeah,
Could have been
it's true.
Kane.
It's true.
Yeah.
It could have been Kane.
Oh
If it
man,
is
if you
Kane,
want
that's
somebody
gonna
to
be
get
horrible.
booed, nah, WWE fans ain't gonna boo Kane.
No.
What about
No.
Glacier? Glacier has a weird eye too.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, man.
or Mr. One Luchasaurus is on his last of the contract. Maybe he shows up, right? You never know.
Luchasaurus does strike me as if they miss the ball with him in AEW, he's a guy that will thrive in the WWE like environment. I think so. Like heavily.
Well, he was there and he
Yeah, I was
failed.
gonna say, he was there. in
He did
NXT.
fail.
But I mean, yeah, using
If he
that
listens,
character.
if he-
That's like
yes.
that's like if Moxley went back to WWE. I'm almost 100% that he would just be John Moxley. They wouldn't just revert him back to Dean Ambrose. They're
No, I
gonna
think you're
bring
right
in-
about that. I
Yeah,
think.
they would.
He
they'd be
never
like,
will
they would
because
take the
he's too
guy with all the
stubborn. But
stock. Yeah.
yeah, he's too stubborn to go back. I think Luchasaurus would excel if they would probably tweak that. I don't think they would bring him in.
They
as
wouldn't do the
Luchasaurus, but-
Luchasaurus thing,
yeah.
but I think they would keep that Kane-esque aura about
which
him. I don't.
they would do wonders with that, with the mask and all that shit. They would love that for
I
merch.
think
might
it
be
should
able
be. I'm thinking Sheamus or Gunther is his first one out the gate.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Or his
Sheamus,
opponent,
because
you mean?
Sheamus is
Yeah.
For
over-
Bray, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sheamus
Yeah.
has a big enough character and history to stand on to where, like, it would make sense. And I mean, he's been
And
pretty
he
much
could
everyone-
lose. Yeah,
and he can lose, and it wouldn't
yeah.
be that big. And he
Yeah.
has a faction
Yeah,
to help
true.
him out that Bray could take out.
That's a good
you know what I'm
call.
saying, on the way to him. Like, same with Gunther. Like,
But we're not getting that this Saturday though, right? We don't
No,
think. We're
Sheamus
just
is
getting-
on his honeymoon
yeah.
right now.
We're getting
We're
promo.
just gonna get a promo or some other
Right.
big.
yeah, I
thing,
don't
yeah.
see the Saudis not paying to get Bray there after he
Yeah.
just came
Yeah.
back. Like, I don't see that being part of the deal. Like,
No,
no,
they
Bray
want-
better be there.
Yeah,
They want every hot act that
Yeah,
WWE
that's what I'm
has. Yeah, they're gonna
including
roll out.
ones that aren't alive anymore. Wasn't that the last one they requested? Like, who did they request? Ultimate.
They
Warrior
wanted
or something?
Yokozuna.
Yeah, they requested somebody who wasn't even alive.
Yeah, they did that.
They're like, oh, we can't quite make that happen. But
That's why. I mean, yeah, that's crazy because that's why we got like the.
that's why we got Goldberg, and that's why we got everybody we've gotten in all these Saudi shows because the Prince wanted it.
It's
Could you
crazy.
imagine though? Could you imagine if this Uncle Howdy or whatever turned out to be like a Jacob Fatu or somebody like that?
Oh my god, that'd be so cool.
I'd be
No,
into that.
Fatu needs to go into the bloodline. Let's be real. He
He does,
Yeah.
but if they're just going
Yeah.
somewheres, yeah.
Kyle, that's a great point though. It really should be somebody that we don't know, that we haven't seen, that's coming in fresh. Because that's a really good call. It's a good take because that
Easier
would
than
keep it really
pivoting an
interesting.
existing character.
Yeah.
Or it's got to be a massive signing, one or the other.
Yeah.
And there's no massive signing left.
That's
up
what I
there,
said.
really.
Like, all
Nah.
that sounds well and good, but that's pure fantasy because there isn't any real big free agents out there. But
No.
Alistair, but he can't be signed for a while. And
But did he
CM
even get
Punk,
released?
maybe?
Like that's still
No, dude,
in question, right? Tony's just
I
shelving him. I think that's what I heard.
he's going back on Instagram. Him, Julia Hart, and help me out, RN.
Buddy Murphy or
Brody
Buddy
Lee?
Matthews,
Buddy Matthews and
Brody King.
Brody King. They all released in the in theme shots of each other, like under
Yeah.
strobe lights. Like they literally created a faction series of vignettes with each other, all of them with the exact same thing.
Yeah, he's not leaving AEW.
No, he ain't leaving.
yeah.
They're coming right back.
Yeah,
I think he asked for his release.
and
Tony-
Tony said no.
Tony said no, and he said, "What do you want to do? Do you want to sit on the shelf forever, or do you want to take another go at this?" And I think at the end of the day, he's like, "Well, I don't want to just quit wrestling, and who knows? Like I told RN, I think Tony Khan. I'm not going to defend the guy, but logic would dictate if somebody's trying to get better, they would acknowledge their failures or their shortcomings, and then they would take another stab at it. I said, if with Malachi Black, that's one that you just have to own up. Like I screwed up. Let's try to reset this.
Yeah.
I said Andrade was actually the one where I was like, look, that was the one I'd let go. Like not only have I screwed up for you, I have no idea what to do with you.
Right.
But
And
you're
then they're doing for Roosh what they should have did for him.
Yeah, no, Roosh is getting every bit of like all the beats that correctly that Andrade should have got.
No, that's a good take. I just always go back to it. It's so infuriating that the internet didn't take the heat that they gave to every single release that every single guy didn't get from WWE, like the Mustafa Ali's of the world. And that was criminal, right? If WWE did it, and Tony Khan does it to how many guys in the last 6 months, and nothing, right? I mean, pretty much nothing.
It feels like a fever dream, though. It feels like you're at a party and you're doing a whole bunch of drugs, and everything is like moving really fast over at AEW because it's just a signing here, a backstage brawl here, an upcoming pay-per-view here, and it's just when like, hey. Like, I saw the stove was on fire. Somebody over here offered you a line of Coke, and you're like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? And you're like, and you don't even pay attention to the fire anymore. And I feel like that's much more representative of AEW is this like rager party, whereas WWE was like, dude, this place fucking sucks. You know what I mean? And you had way more time to focus on all the shitty aspects.
That's a good point.
That's just how I interpret it.
No, it's good.
So drug-fueled debauchery.
While we're on that
little
bender
glimpse into
for
the
AEW,
Kyle life right there.
While we're on the bender for AEW, let's switch and go with them for a second here. Full Gear's coming up. I know they haven't really fleshed up the lineup too much, but there's only one thing that really matters right now. It's that MJF Moxley match. So are we all on board with the idea that MJF wins? And if so, how do you think it's going to happen? How do you think it's going down? Do you think he's going to be a face turn? Do you think it's going to be a screw job, a swerve, whatever? What do you guys feel?
I think it's a swerve. I think his character paid all his goons to powerbomb him through that table.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it is a swerve. I really do. Because the other way is so boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess I've lost faith in Tony's booking though, because I don't know. I hope it is.
I think it is too, but
I'm worried a bit.
I don't know if you guys like Jim Cornette did a great breakdown of the whole idea of being a swerve today, and he's like, even the swerve side of it doesn't match MJF's character because he's much smarter. He would come up with a slimier swerve than this, than to have himself put through a table and risk getting injured and all that stuff. I think the swerve comes from Regal joining them. I think he goes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. I just think this always comes down to Tony and AEW in general. They're booking, overthinking everything. Like you didn't need any of this shit.
No, you
didn't
be
a part of it. You had a perfect heel versus a perfect baby
face. Yeah,
you could have just ran this shit out. And then, like you said, if you did want to do a swerve, the Regal swerve is a big swerve to where you can, you know what I'm saying, and it still lines up with MJF's character. He still gets to be that chicken shit heel that we hate that squeaked by and finally won the title. And like it's good to go. Like you didn't need to involve the firm and 500 dudes and him trying to save Moxley and all this shit. Like it's one of the biggest things I hate about AEW. And like I want to not watch it, but I can't because I love so many guys there. It's just like they always go 2 or 3 steps too fucking far on everything they book. It doesn't matter if it's women, tag team, whatever. They always just take 2 or 3 extra steps that were totally unnecessary.
They overcook it.
This is one of them. They always do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like I agree. You're just left scratching your head and be like, why with any of this? None of this makes sense. It doesn't make sense for him to win the, well, I guess it kind of makes sense for him to win the chip the way he did, but also not really. He could have found other ways to, you know what I mean? It's just like none of it from the get-go seems to make any sense. Also using the voicemail and stuff, I didn't love that. Like how many fucking work shoots are we going to have in this company, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just getting ridiculous at this point. So
it's overkill. It's always overkill.
I hope they figure it out. I hope it settles down. I gotta get a little more caught up with the other feuds going into Full Gear, but I don't know. I'm tempered because I'm worried that they ruin the MGF stuff, but
I don't think
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
be.
Yeah, give us your thoughts because you're an AEW. You're a fan of AEW, and you're going to give us
Yeah,
a more
yeah, yeah.
non-biased
So-
opinion, right?
No, the idea that makes the most sense and is actually the Regal stuff, because if you're paying attention, the Bullet Club's imploding on each other.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan's Yuta's like the jealous girlfriend because Daniel Bryan was paying attention to Garcia, who I think is actually going to be the one to dethrone Jericho too. So you got that going down. Claudio is kind of it seems like they're trying to repair Claudio's kind of position in the card to set him up to go off, which honestly kind of pains me because Blackpool Combat Club feels like it should have been the most dominant, bloodthirsty. It should have been the closest thing that we got to the Shield.
Yeah.
As far as how imposing and dominant they could be as a force.
Given the names that were in there,
but we never got them at full force. Other than the blood and guts match, I think it was. We never got them going at full force, just destroying guys, being this force that had to implode. Right now, they're imploding for no reason other than just one of them was really taking a liking to trying to pull in another member, but with that being said, I'm cool with it. It's not going to play out the best way it could. Like the best way it could is still with Regal. The Firm is really fucking this up. Mm-hmm. It is just another thrown together faction. Yeah. I like that they tried to give everybody individual motivation. They brought them all out there. They gave everybody's what everybody's game plan and mission statement was. But I mean, the Firm, not only is it hurting this story, it's hurting how big, I forget Morrissey, like Big Cass.
Yeah.
He could be a bigger deal. And now his motivation is I just want a job. I'm here because I need to get paid.
I'll be honest with you. Everybody puts way too much stock in him. I think Ethan is the biggest star in that group and should be the focal point of that group.
I agree with that.
He is.
Listen to this dude just play to the fucking Canadians on the show. All right?
I mean, you know how I felt about the North. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Big Cass is Big Cass. Like, I think he's boring as shit. Like,
you want to hear
the jeans and shit. He comes out in a Canadian tuxedo every fucking week. I mean, like, I think that he's overrated as fuck, and I think that.
No, you want to hear that? You want to hear a really spicy take? I think I should bring Enzo back. I really do.
I do too.
I do too. That's not spicy. We
got
fired for nothing.
No, it was bullshit. Yeah.
He literally got fired for nothing.
He's only persona non grata because of the SummerSlam stunt. If he didn't fucking do that, he would be already in Triple H's WWE, I think.
Dude, he mentioned that WrestleMania, that there was a ton of people that were fired and they were wrestlers and they were at WrestleMania and no one gave a shit. Like no media. Now, granted, they weren't trying to rile the crowd up.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of newly released wrestlers in the crowd at WrestleMania,
just watching the show.
Show, and he was like, you notice how none of them got attention. But he's like, if I was in that crowd, every media outlet would be that. He's storming.
You can't tell me if Enzo and Cass showed up on Raw next Monday night, the place wouldn't explode.
I lose my fucking mind.
They would add so much to that tag division. Yeah, they would. Every fan in the arena would forget about all the distaste that they had for Enzo. Yeah. They would sing that catchphrase.
Yeah.
Again.
Yes.
They would. They would erupt.
And I haven't given up on Morrissey yet. Like, I think he's had a bumpy road, right? I mean, he got released, then he had all those addiction issues, and he had the seizure. Didn't he have seizures and stuff?
Yeah, I got a seizure.
So, like, I give that, and he's in phenomenal shape now. Like, I mean, the guy is better than when he left in his prime in WWE. So, I'm not. When a guy's that big and has enough talent to get by in the ring, like in ring wise, I don't think you ever give up on a guy like that, but I think they're not doing him any.
That's my point. Like, it's like
they haven't done anything with him yet.
No, and he's literally the biggest fucking dude in the company.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
They have
towers over anybody.
Everybody, not anybody. Everybody.
You're right.
He's got to be the tallest active roster member.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind you putting him in a faction like this, but like he's just been the muscle, just the silent guy in the back. not saying shit, not doing shit.
He had a better run in Impact.
His Impact run was good. Yeah.
Way better
Even
Impact.
with Moose and everything. Like I said, but they again with AEW, they always overthink everything. Like he should not. If it was in the perfect world for me, it should have been him and Stokely speaking for him, and him just mauling through people like Wardlow.
That is it right there.
Go back to the trunks, though. Get rid of the jeans. Go back to the trunks and boots and beat some people's ass.
Exactly. Take the Canadian tuxedo off and go back and look like a wrestler. Because Ethan Page does not need Stokely halfway.
No, he
Ethan
doesn't.
Page is one of the best talkers.
He could carry that show on his own if he
literally
really
in the
wanted
last
to.
probably 10 years, he's one of the best talkers. He doesn't need Stokely to talk for him. So why would you put them two together?
Ethan Page is going to do nothing in AEW, and then he's going to wind up in WWE.
I hope so.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
He is perfect for he's a more athletic, a more better looking Kevin Owens in my eyes.
Yeah,
it just shows that
really good
guys
point.
that belong in WWE. Certain guys belong there. They cannot be booked anywhere else. Like Cass, great example.
Well, speaking of that, and maybe this isn't the mold for guys who belong to WWE, but I was a little sour that Bandito, I think, is apparently going to stay in AEW, but apparently Trips had a quick call to him right away too to try and get him over there. But I was really hoping Bandito, who's a big luchador guy, bigger guy in the ring, I was really hoping he was going to show up, and they would have had a field day with that mask and everything in WWE. They would have just went to town on that.
The marketing, the merchandising,
the merchandise and the Mexican stuff. Speaking of Santos, RN, did you guys see that they actually let his dad come into the ring in Mexico? Like, he was obviously playing baby in Mexico, and Santos's dad, who's like El Fantasma or something.
Yeah.
He they came in, he went over on, I forget who went over on, Dolph maybe, or something. Anyway, it's just, I was off topic, but
I love him too.
Speaking of Santos, there was an interesting
I love
thing
Santos too.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys listen to the Conan show, Keeping It 100, but Disco brought up that he thinks that with this whole Ray Dominic thing, that Santos and his crew should kind of come up to Ray and offer their services to Ray. Not that they join together, more so like a cartel where they come and the enemy of my enemy is your friend type of thing. And just kind of play off of that, where Ray's kind of hesitant, but he needs them for the Judgment Day situation, which sounds really good. And Conan kind of was like on the show, yeah, just stay tuned. There's some good stuff coming up for Santos. So I'm pretty excited because I think that guy is one of the best.
What I've said, and I mean, if you listen to all this, I said that Santos is that Latin, foreign, whatever the hell you want to say, like Mexican star that they've been trying to get since.
He is
since
Del Rio.
He is. He's big. He's bigger, so he's not like Rey Mysterio size.
He speaks English really well.
He speaks English really well. Charismatic, great presence on camera.
People know who he is when he goes to Mexico. So it's not just like a guy that came up through your system. He's actually a legitimate star.
They do the masks on the way as an entrance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
know who he is, his mask connection to the crowd.
Don't discount Selena too, right? Being part of that.
Right? I don't know. To me personally, I think she's terrible. Not terrible. I don't think that she fits. I think they should have kept it.
She hasn't fit with anybody outside of Andrade, man.
Right.
Like Andrade and her were such a perfect goddamn couple.
That said, I don't think what's her name was ready to come up to the main roster though.
No, absolutely. No, I totally agree with that. I think they should have just left her off and just let it be Santos. Santos, again, he's another one that doesn't need.
Yeah, but don't forget the reason why they brought them in so quick was for Hit Row, right? They needed that foe for Hit Row.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that is why.
God, Hit Row's been terrible.
If you want to see who WWE's invested in too, watch the production during their entrances.
Yes.
If you look, El Gato Fantasma, or I'm sorry, how do you say it?
Legado
Fantasma. Yeah. If you look, they get the full package. Like they get the camera right on that entrance. They make sure that the audience sees like their entrance video, that they see everything. That's so because they are truly trying to get the audience to know of this faction in this group. And I picked up on it on, I think, the last episode of SmackDown. I was like, to me, it was weird. It was like they oddly paid attention to their entrance really well. It felt like they just put like a little extra effort into getting that entrance over on television.
I think that they figured out that Ray's on the way out. Dominic's not quite there what they thought. And I think that they're finally understanding that they have other pieces to use. And to me, he's the perfect they've literally been trying to find somebody to fit that market for what 10 years
Well,
now.
since Sin Cara, at least, right? They
That's what I'm
wanted it to
saying.
be
They
Sin
keep going
Cara.
back to Ray because everyone fizzles the fuck out. Like, and I think
Good
that
point.
he's like I said, it goes back to his size. He's not really a smaller luchador like we're used to.
Yeah,
he's
a guy
he's
that I
good-looking
wish
as
they
all
would have
hell.
done that with, though, is Angel. That's
That's who I thought it was going to be.
And Carrillo, man.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Carrillo.
They'll be fine. They're super young though too. But I'm with RN, man. Like this guy, like since I saw him in NXT, I thought he is the next one. Like
I watched him
fantastic.
in Impact. I watched him in Impact as
I didn't even realize he was that.
He was fantastic. He was like El Fantasmo or something in it. I forget what he was, but he was awesome in Impact. He was so good.
All right, I got one more topic before we let you guys go, and we'll let you shout out your show like big time as well because we're big fans.
I felt like we were just getting rolling. Damn.
No. This one should take a little bit of time because I think we can go somewhere with this. But we got Crown Jewel coming up. It's looking like an afterthought show when you think about it. We just talked about a few people that aren't even going to be on the card, and I can't believe Seth doesn't have a match on this show or anything like that. But the main event's going to be the key here because it's a kind of a strange one where we have Roman Reigns facing Logan Paul. I know everybody's bitching and moaning about Logan Paul. He's only had 2 matches in his career, but who cares? He's getting more eyeballs on the product than
I'm not bitching about it.
No, me neither. But the IWC, as we like to call it, is going crazy. But now I know everybody just assumes Roman's going to win this match, which I think is a safe bet. But you got to think about it. If they were to just put the title on Logan Paul, this guy's got how many, was it 100 and something million followers on Twitter or on YouTube and stuff like it's crazy, right? This guy's got national recognition. He's just was in a fight.
International recognition.
Yes, international recognition. He was just in a fight with Floyd Mayweather. His brother is now making headlines with his boxing career.
Please don't.
I know. It's. I saw the dive by Silva in that fight. Yes,
yeah,
but
he definitely took a dive.
I know, but I'm just saying they're getting eyeballs everywhere. So, I mean, people joke, "Oh, it's like Arquette," but this is nothing like it. This guy can actually go in the ring. He looks like a wrestler. He looks the part. He wants to talk.
be too.
He
wants
to be there. That's the
difference.
That's the difference.
Is it crazy to think that they could possibly put the title on him at this event?
Yes, I don't think it's crazy.
I don't think it's crazy if Roman wasn't on this streak. If he wasn't on this streak, then no.
They got to get it off him somehow, though.
Yeah, but that's not the right way to do it.
I wouldn't mind if they got it off him. They pulled some swervy shit like it didn't count because it was in Saudi Arabia or some shit like that. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I
full-heartedly hold him hostage.
Right, I full-heartedly believe in Logan Paul. Like, I wish that he would commit some more time because he really is good. Like, he plays the part. He knows where the hard cameras are and shit. Like he knows.
Make him a heel. Make him a heel.
Yeah, that's where they messed up.
But he's almost playing it up as a heel. He's almost tweenering it. You know what I mean?
He's letting people
that match that he had at WrestleMania, he was not. He should not have been the face of that. Like, but I'm saying like you finally have a out of pocket, you know what I'm saying, outsider that really is fucking good. That can speak English because Bad Bunny, we know he was good too, but the English is an issue, and it's always going to be an issue for them. You have somebody like that who's young, looks good, he knows what he's doing, he wants to be a part of it, like
passionate
about it, loves it. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I hated these dudes, but like once I started like kind of listening to their podcast and like kind of seeing that judging them for shit they did when they were kids is not really fair, you know what I'm saying? Like, and actually paying attention, like they are smart as hell, they're great businessmen, they know how to promote themselves. And that will put our eyes on WWE that they've been losing, like especially with kids and younger people. Like this fucking dude will make people that are too old or too cool to watch, makes them want to watch. Like I don't I don't understand why. I don't definitely think you're crazy as hell he's not being Roman, but I definitely think they should have him in bigger, more high, like main event, co-main event type matches. You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree, but I do think the plan is in 2-3 years he is the next Roman. I think I'm
not mad at that.
I think that's got to be their plan because I think it's what he wants. I think he wants to be their biggest star.
Just a couple of numbers, guys. Just a couple of numbers before we continue this conversation. So he's got 23 million subscribers on YouTube right now. His Impulsive podcast has another 4 million YouTube subscribers. He had over 5.8 billion views and he's been listed in 2017, 18, and 2021 as the highest paid YouTube creators in those years, right? That's just YouTube. And then you go on to Twitter and all that stuff. I don't even know what his numbers are for that. But I mean, that is a crazy reach. Even if, like RN said, they pulled some move like a dusty finish where he wins it for the day, he's not going to get booed over because it's a Saudi Arabia crowd.
Yeah, they won't. Yeah,
marks, right? So they're gonna just cheer because okay, he's the good guy in this fight. And then somehow something comes up where they have to pull it back onto Roman or something. But can you imagine the press that would get?
Yeah. Like I think Triple H knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree. We've been touting this scenario for a while, I guess. And I mean, this just popped in my head, but there's also a way they could do it where it's not even a dusty finish or a swerve or anything, where Roman only loses one belt, right? So Heyman weasels his way in and says, well, actually the contract was only for the WWE championship, not the Universal Championship, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And then that reign continues as it was before, because they just amalgamated the WWE one into his Universal reign, because that's that, you know what I mean? So there's all kinds of ways they could go about it. I still think it might be a long shot, but I wouldn't hate it. If they did it right, to Ryan's point, if Triple H did it right, I think it'd be good.
If there's an event, it'll happen at. It'll be the Saudi show.
Yeah,
they get away with it. They can sneak it.
Yeah. They just really love to treat Saudi like 95% of it is not canon, and then they'll swap like the main title.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do some crazy shit like this is the time to do it.
That's the place you do it. I mean, I feel like BC, when you go through all this, what you're doing is you read off, like you have like the pros and cons list, and like you just like read off the pros, and you're just like, fuck this cons list right here. Like this is everything that you want to pay attention. And I mean, nothing you said is wrong. Like nothing you said is wrong. To me, what it does is like it's the same argument that you had with the Bella Twins. The Bella Twins, notoriously hated by our demographic, our old like pasty asses, and then RN. You know, but they brought in a shitload of this other demographic of these young girls who were really into those characters. You know what I mean? And it kickstarted. It helped kickstart what eventually turned into the women's revolution, because you had all those girls that tuned in, and they were also very vocal, and then they saw that, you know, WWE didn't care about the women's division, and they made their voices known, and it did it. So we've seen that happen before, where you have that figure that brings in a new audience that just might not be our demographic, just because we're all old and we recall wrestling from like the 90s and 80s and shit.
Yeah, the gatekeeping shit sucks to me. Like,
yeah, it sucks to be a gatekeeper, but I mean, it's a natural progression of aging. You can try all you want to keep up with, but eventually you're just going to lose touch. I feel like you just don't want to become bitter. Like I never want to be bitter. I want to I want to be able to say like, hey, I don't get it. I appreciate what I saw. Let me try to get into your stuff. Like I never want to be that person.
I guess my thing has always been like, wrestling's always been like a niche, like nerdy, swept under the rug, don't tell anybody you watch it type thing. Like, especially when I was growing up being a black dude in the inner city, like, people would talk so much shit if they knew I watched wrestling. Then I got to the point where I didn't give a shit. And like, I like when other people get to put eyes on this and make it so other people can enjoy it like I enjoy it. That's why I never got into like the gatekeeping aspect. Like, no, if you motherfuckers want to come, especially you women, if a bunch of hot girls want to come watch wrestling with us, like, why are we complaining about this? Like idiots. Like,
do what they want. It's a very true statement. That's a very good point. But I mean, at the end of the day, do you sacrifice like 2 years of storytelling to have like a caveat, to use a caveat to put a belt on this guy just for the exposure that he's probably already in the process of bringing? You know what I mean? Like he's already doing it. Like, what else do you gain? Okay, now he's pictured with the belt. Yes, you're able to slap a logo on him now with everywhere he goes, but I mean, he can do that too. He had a contract. I'm sure part of that contract is like, dude, you're plugging WWE everywhere you can go as it is. Plus, I also think that I don't think he's winning a belt. I don't think so. But I do believe we are literally only a couple months away from him holding like a mid-card belt. to get him. Like I could see him. What's he mainly feuds with Roman, so that kind of leans him more towards like SmackDown. I could see him like picking up that IC strap, not off Gunther, but like whoever sneaks the win from Gunther, and I could see him picking it up there.
My only rebuttal to that would be if he's only really a part-time guy, he's probably got a Brock Lesnar type deal. He's probably got a Bray type deal where he's got a per appearance, and those are probably written in as PLEs or whatever, right? So as a mid-card guy, does that really fit with a contract like that? I mean, that's my only...
I think it does.
What if they try to please everybody? And because I mean, they're hyping up this pin-filled metal hand that he's got, right?
Yes,
what if he
have been doing that.
what if he hits it? He gets the visual win on Roman, meaning like the crowd count outs 1, 2, 3, but the refs like bumped or something, right? He loses, but in that chauvinistic aura, he runs out, grabs himself a replica belt, and he walks around as self-proclaiming the true champ. Now this guy is toting a world title everywhere. And he can claim he's the true champ, and everybody. Roman keeps his belts, and Paul gets to run around with a belt.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's good creative.
Guys have done it in the UFC. Colby Covington said he was the true UFC champ, and he toted around a replica everywhere he went. He said he was the true champ. The dude walked around with a UFC belt everywhere. Fucking Connor would go to press conferences and steal Jose Aldo's belt, take it over to his side, like Who knows, man?
I think what we don't know is the long-term sort of storyline building that they're doing behind the scenes. So, like, is it a twice a year thing that he's going to be showing up? Is it a 3, 4, 5, 6 time a year thing? Like, because we don't know that, I think then we can't. If we knew, okay, he was a regular member of every week, right? Then I think we could probably analyze a little more about, okay, this would make more sense if he did win here, because then he could kind of defend it and lose it again quickly or whatever. Right. But if he's only showing up for the next show being Mania or maybe at best Rumble.
Oh, he'll be in the Rumble.
Yeah,
if he doesn't have a match, he'll be
further to the craziness of it. And I like where you were going, BC, but like my only sort of my brain goes to, okay, but then logistically he can't show up again till Rumble. They're going to have the title off TV for that time with him. He's not going to just, then they have to build up another, logistics of it. I know Roman's only part-time, but he's got the bloodline keeping him sort of relevant every week. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just
I wouldn't there mind like one out of every 2 to 3 weeks too. Yeah. It's not like he's gone long period. It's not like he's Brock and he's gone months.
I think what it was is that he wasn't around early in the year because now they have all the dates that they can use him with because I think how they build those contracts is you have a date. They don't actually specify until they know storylines, and then they can actually say, okay, well, we're going to take those 25 and we're going to do it over these days at the end. Because I think they did that with Brock where they ran out of dates towards the end of the year one year, right?
Smart. I think that's smart to use part-timers like that instead of sprinkling them in. Because, I mean, it's played out for the big shows. And not to mention, you get booed. Like, the hardcore fans hate it, dude. When they see these guys come in, they only show up for the Rumble or they only show up for Mania. But, it changes. Like, look at the perception of Brock Lesnar. Yeah. We hated Brock Lesnar holding that title hostage for, like, 2 years. But when Brock Lesnar worked out this new deal, and then he showed up and he was around for like 3 months straight, 3-4 months. This guy was around often. We loved it.
I agree. I think it goes back to RN's point, though. I'm with RN. I don't this idea, this notion of gatekeeping and like what was done in the past. You can't like fuck that. Like so what? You've got big stars. It's a Hollywood type thing, right? You're not going to see 18 movies from Tom Cruise in 1 year. You're going to see one big blockbuster. Why can't we have that same in wrestling, right? Like I'm done with this like old school mentality of like things can never change. And that, like, let's be honest, it was Vince and Pritchard for the most part, right? But and they even for Vince, he could bring these guys in for once in a while. But I don't know. Like come once a year.
One thing I wish that WWE kind of do like AEW does, like they bringing those rappers on. I know it's a little bit lost in translation to the AEW crowd, not knowing who 90% of those rappers are.
Yeah, man, dude. Nope. No, I haven't.
Some
known,
of them
like,
were
who
just
a
bad
single
though.
one-
RN. They
I
were
was
just
like, dude,
bad.
who is that? Who
Buffalo
was
I know
guy was
all those
horrible.
guys. I know
who was
literally every
Squirt
single.
Gun Kelly singing for fucking Daniel Bryan, man?
No, that I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know. That's
The
come on. That's a
Buffalo guy
white dude.
wasn't
Look,
that
I thought
great,
it was a
though.
girl. I didn't even know it was a dude till he came out to perform.
Yeah, good call. It did sound like a girl.
I
in the
thought it was a
voice.
woman. I didn't know that was.
It was a dude singing his.
No, but
theme.
all the rappers like WWE partners with Wale and do Wale Mania like
Yeah.
every year. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, he
There's-
does Big E's song too. He
Yeah,
like
he
actually
does
does
Big
a
E's
song.
song. Like there's different ways you could do stuff to introduce people. Like there's tons of rappers that love wrestling and that can kind of show you a different light and give you a spotlight from different wrestlers, like people like me. Like that made me feel real good knowing that these dudes, these hardcore gangster thugs shooting guns in their records, they like watching dudes in their draws get sweaty too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You can relate.
I can relate. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of stuff. Like I think that we do, and it's a lot of white people, but it's also some black people too. But like, does so much gatekeeping on who's allowed to be a wrestling fan and who's
Yeah,
not.
I
Like
hate
I
it.
think we need to just
Such
we
a
need to open the
weird
gates
thing.
just a little bit, and
Yeah.
let some more demographics in.
I mean,
It's
I guess if we related to sports, like listen, every sport has it too. Like baseball's the most gatekeeping sport there is, where they
Right.
don't want to change this rule. They don't want to change. Our hockey in Canada is the same deal. We got all these old ass white people who don't
But
want
to
to
be honest,
change
like,
this.
I didn't know there's many black people playing hockey now. Like I actually try and keep up with some of the hockey because I didn't realize there was actually top stars that were black. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been for years actually.
Yeah.
Well, one of our biggest
Did not
stars was
know that.
Jerome McGinley. Was
Yeah, I remember Jerome
geez,
McGinley, but that's
from,
it.
Yeah, the 90s or whatever. But anyway, it's just like they get all crotchety. Oh, we can't change this and we can't make this. It's like, why not? Is it good? And kudos to the NFL of all people. The NFL is the best at that. They'll change whatever the fuck they want anytime they want because it makes the game better.
In the
They don't
middle of
give
the
a
year
shit.
over year.
They don't give a shit.
Well, let's hold on now. Like not every rule. You can't even fucking touch the quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, fair
You know
enough.
what I mean?
It's not all
Like-
for the, I didn't say it was all for the better. I
Yeah,
didn't say it
yeah.
was all
But
for
I
the
get
better.
I get where you're going. No, yeah, dude. Like, no, like that's the worst part about being like a long-term fan is you become like you're just so naturally inclined to become like a dickhead.
Yeah.
And it comes like you have like if you don't pay attention, you just do it unnaturally. You know what I mean? You find yourself saying like stupid shit. Like I remember back when they were new. You know what I mean? And this, I remember before they did this like stupid change. Like you like this? Hell no, they were better back then and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you become that old fan who you found like a band that you liked when they were like
Right.
local and you became a fan of theirs, and then of course they blow up because you
now
saw the
they
talent.
suck.
Now they either
Suck.
suck or anybody that listens to them now that they've blown up isn't a real
Sold
fan
out.
of theirs.
How dare they get
Yeah.
popular? You fucking suck now.
Yeah, no, man.
But that's the worst argument. I totally agree. But it's like
Yeah.
we did I think our last episode. It was just like just watch it and enjoy it and stop overthinking every single aspect of it. Just goddamn enjoy what you're watching in front of your eyeballs. That's it.
And like I think we
That's
need
it.
to understand it's not for it's everything
No.
specifically for you. There's
Right,
shit on there
exactly.
for
Yeah,
everybody. That's the point of wrestling. It's always been a carnival.
Yeah.
Carnival ride.
The
There's
circus
stuff-
mentality. Yeah.
There's hardcore shit. Like it's for everybody. And I think we kind of got away from that after like the Attitude Era and shit. Like I think the PG era I think it ruined wrestling fans. Like because it made everything so bland and vanilla. Like we didn't have a little bit of everything that brought in every different type of person or every different type of fan.
No, to be fair though, Vince, the most recent iteration of Vince's WWE, it was not a lot for me. Like I was skipping a lot of that shit because there was too much of the not for me stuff. You know what I mean? So
I mean that wasn't
Like-
just you. That's everybody.
yeah. So I think we just need an adult product that has something for everything, right? That's or something for everybody. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think we've that was good. That was a good chat on that, boys. I like that.
Yeah, well, I find it ironic that here I am, the old school get off my lawn guy, and I'm
And
the
you're
guy
the one
bringing
proposing it.
up this topic.
Yeah.
But hey, that's wrestling now, and I mean, I got to roll with the times too. And for some reason, normally I'd be against like these celebrities coming in, but I bought into Logan Paul, man, because he's actually
He's
he
believable
looks
though. That's right.
he looks the part, and he
Yeah.
looks like he's trying, and he's skilled. The only thing is he's getting booked wrong because he is a natural heel. He should be a heel. That's what it is. But other than that, I mean, so if they did it as a traditionalist, would I rather see them not do it? No. But if they did it, would I be throwing my remote through the TV? No, I'd just be like, wow, okay, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask about a wrestling prize is let's see where this goes instead of going like, this
Well,
is
what you don't
garbage.
want is predictability, right? And if
Yeah,
they did that,
yeah.
that would not be predictable. Like they would be.
No, it
throwing
would
that
not.
stuff.
We ask to not know what's going on, and then we don't know.
And then we get
Yeah.
pissed off.
Everyone
How-
You
gets
sons of
pissed off about
bitches.
How outraged were you when Asuka lost her streak at Mania?
I wasn't outraged at all.
I'm trying to remember.
Like,
I don't think it really impacted me that.
That was the
much.
Charlotte, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
'Cause
mean,
It was for Charlotte. So I didn't really give a shit because I love Charlotte.
Yeah,
And
I'm a
if
Charlotte fan,
anybody,
too.
it should have been her.
I
Yeah,
like
it-
Asuka. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have the. I don't. If I'm trying to remember correctly, I don't think I had the same investment in it like I did
well,
Roman.
she came in as like the Terminator from NXT. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? She never lost her belt. She had the longest reign as champion there. She only had to relinquish the title due to injury. She came up to main roster and everybody was expecting her to carry on. And then there was this, she lost to Charlotte, and there was this, a range from mild outrage to just flat out fake outrage from a lot of fans. Either way, it was disheartening for longtime NXT fans to watch one of their idols, like their NXT black and gold idols, kind of just lose in this short, forgettable match at Mania. And it really added like this layer of stank. But my point being is that fandom stuck around. They're still fans of Asuka today. They still cheer for her all the time. I feel like that's how it would be if Logan Paul won, because Roman Reigns is on this long,
God mode.
damn near historic
yeah.
reign right now with that title. And it's getting to the point where a lot of us, myself included, are building up this epic conclusion of where he loses grasp of that belt. And the idea of it's a slight caveat, it's a little this, it's a little that, and that's how he loosens up and he loses maybe only one of the belts. To me, it adds like a level of stay, because I was like, no, I want this perfect ending where everything crumbles in one dramatic moment. And so, like, if that's not how it goes, there's going to be like, oh, that sucks. It's going to kind of bum me out for like a week or two, but then we're just going to keep rolling with the punches, because then you'll remember the product's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's kind of like where my mind's at. If Logan Paul was to come out with the win, I feel like that's like a realistic expectation. I don't think anyone's going to be like, well, fuck WWE. I ain't never watching again. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a really good take. And like now it made me think, okay, so if it's not Paul and then we get into Mania season, so if it's The Rock, does it have the same stank on it?
I'm waiting for the story to be told. At this point, I'm waiting for them to kick in that gear.
It's for the head of the table, right?
You know, is it The Rock? Is it Sami Zayn who because remember, everybody
it can't
feels
be Sammy though. I'm
It
sorry.
can't be
no,
Sammy.
you're right. You're right.
There's nowhere to go with Sammy. It can be Sammy beat him based on this amazing storyline, but you can't take that anywhere. Like Sammy being Universal Champion,
He'd just lose it. He'd lose it.
Yeah,
right
he's
away.
not that guy, right? Even though he is.
Sammy's
right
story is with the Usos. That's
Right.
his story. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And then you have the other argument is the Jey Uso. The Jey Uso, I think that's my pick. Like I'm not a booker, all right, so don't get mad at me. It's not like I'm paid to do this, but that's who I would book to do it. It's main event Jey. He watched, you know what I mean? It's just like the full circle storytelling would be with him.
I don't hate that. I just, again, it's the same argument to me. Then where do you go with that? Because Jay is not a Roman level or a Rock level or even a Cody level, right? So where do you go from there? And that's the same argument with Sammy. Is like, okay, he wins, and then where? Then
it's always been Cody to me. Like I don't want to.
Cody.
I'm over them bringing back old people to beat our current stars. Like I just don't see the value in it. To me, it's like, where do you go with Rock if he beats him for the titles? You know he's not going to be there long.
No,
and
he goes away.
Blow out one of his giant ass fucking obliques or something like in the match, like he does every other time. So it's like, what's the point of it, and what do you really gain by bringing in the Rock?
So my hope is that we do get Rock Roman, but the belts are gone at that point, and it's just for the head of the table. It's just for that Samoan dynasty, all of that shit, because that'll be fun as hell, right? Like that'll be awesome. And if the titles are gone, then we don't care about the result, right?
Exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Like like in my head, I don't know if I can articulate it the best, but you got Sammy who is winning over the bloodline, winning over the family. Jay is being ousted. You know what I mean? He got stared down by his own brother, Jimmy. That's got to be heartbreaking. His other brother, Solo, stared him down briefly. The only person that says they believe in him still is Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Yeah, is Paul Heyman.
Or Sammy. Even Sammy.
Or Sammy, but
does,
even then you could chalk that up to like the fake, the manipulator, the master manipulator. So you have Sammy essentially disintegrate this bloodline from within, and that causes Roman to lose the belts, let's say to Cody. Let's please RN. And then Jay who says, comes out and says like, look, I've had the family in mind this whole time. Obviously, Roman, you haven't been the head of the table. I had to make a phone call to find somebody who does take care of the family and has always taken care of the family. And he calls in The Rock, and Jay's the one who brings The Rock in to do this. In my mind, that's a pretty good story.
That's a great story. That's a great story.
That's great.
I think it's terrible.
Yeah. Looking at your cell phone ass. Like,
I will say this one last thing, Jay. I think like where you're saying, where do you go with this? Like, where do you go with so-and-so winning? That's the problem right now. Where do you go with any baby face that wins the title? It's all in the chase, especially now with this is an epic moment that whoever takes it off of Roman, but what do you follow it with? Nothing. Nobody's like even Cody. Like it's almost like you then have to have immediately Austin Theory cashes in that person, takes the title, and then you start a chase all over again. Like it's just craziness. But yeah, whoever's winning it, I just hope that they play this out right. And no, it shouldn't be Logan Paul.
I see the value though. You're right. I mean, there's legitimate value to putting that belt on Logan though. Like dollar signs there is, but it's just
I think Logan's a long play. That's my take. He's a long play. They've got a lot of stuff ready to go for him in the coming years, and he's committed. So I think he's
that interview he did with Triple H was awesome.
Yeah. Hey, who knows? Maybe Theory comes out and knocks him out with the briefcase before the match starts, and it's between Theory and Roman or something like that.
Oh, what if Logan knocks out Roman and
then Theory cashes in? Yeah, good call.
Crazy. Yeah. I still think that's anticlimactic for.
It all is.
You need a storyline. You need somebody to uncrown, but it's going to be Kevin Owens. That's what it's going to be. After Sammy implodes them.
I say it's Chris Jericho in however many more years, like 3 or 4 more years when he gets back.
All right, guys, this has been absolutely amazing. Awesome. I'd just like to thank you both very much for coming on and for all the times that you've had us on the show as well. Right. You are honestly one of my favorite shows to watch. I catch you all the time on YouTube and comment and all that stuff. I would probably look like a stalker on that stuff, but we got to support each other in this crazy business that we're doing right here. So I want you to take a chance, lay it all on the line, let everybody know where they can find you, everywhere they can find you. And folks, this is just a taste of what you're seeing each time that you go on either Twitch or on YouTube to catch the show.
Ucey, you're too kind, man. All right, you want to do it or you want me to do it?
No, go ahead. You got it.
All right. So, yeah, man, me and RN, honestly, we just like spitball. Some like if you listen to the opening of this show, that is literally the open of every episode of the Rewind. It's like almost like we actively avoid talking about wrestling, but then when we do get into it, we have great discussions, just like we did tonight. Find us, head on over to twitch.tv/SmackedRaw. You can catch all of our live streams there. Interact with us. I think that's the funnest way to actually enjoy the show is through Twitch. Give us a follow once again. And then not to mention on our off days, Will Gray from Bot Spots and Chair Shots, who's going to be on a future episode. His show is actually found on the same Twitch channel. If you like to watch your podcast, you can go over to youtube.com/SmackedRaw podcast. We do put up all of our shows over there. We're going to try to take a crack at some more short form content in the coming future. We were discussing that actually before we came on today. And then lastly, the audio version of this show is found pretty much everywhere. You look, if you ever want to give us a listen, head on over to like iTunes or Apple Podcasts. I don't know which one it is at this point, but give us like a 5-star review. That is like one of the most dramatic things I've realized that helps our show out is those 5-star reviews. We've noticed ever since that people started leaving those reviews on our channel that our audio side of everything has grown fairly quickly. So thank you to everybody who has. And if you guys want to help us out there too, if you ever want to like just give us money, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/SmackDraw podcast. We got a couple people on there. Ted the Hillbilly Heel from the Heel Truth podcast, who he's also found on the audio version. He drops exclusive content on Patreon too. So there's some rewards there and stuff. So yeah, man. Other than that, you can holler at me about like anything pop culture on Twitter at the Kai Tai Show. I pretty much just talk like wrestling and MMA and like I just like bullshit. So there we go. Yeah, cool. I think that's everything.
Well, he said everything. You can catch me at Mr. 8984 on Twitter, ARA8984 on Instagram. Check out Mean Jelly Bean Memes on Facebook. I am a petty enthusiast, and literally, like Kyle said, I'm down to argue, and I want all the smoke on any you can think of, from wrestling, comics, sports, especially sports, representing the New York Football Giants and the New York Yankees and the New York Knicks, and anything else you want to argue about, please hit me up. Thank you.
I love it.
You want to promote the kennels too?
Oh yeah. Also, if you guys are looking for a puppy, we breed French Bulldogs, toy poodles, French Mastiffs, American Bullies. We working on monkeys. Actually, I know that sounds funny, but we're looking in that as well. But
Dude, get the fuck out.
Swear to God. Follow me on that.
No. Hold up. What the fuck did this guy just say?
He said monkeys. He said monkeys like as in the Friends monkey. Like
Listen,
as in
my
the Friends
brother-
monkey, like
My
Marcel.
brother is a fucking maniac, and all of the starter. He's the godfather of the kennel. Like he comes up with these. Like he originally started with sugar gliders and American Bulldogs, and we've transitioned to like 3 or 4 different things. We've bred birds. We had parrots at one time. Like, and if he says he wants to get a monkey, we're gonna breed some fucking monkeys.
Dude, they'll rip your fucking dick off. Have you ever listened to
No,
a Joe
why
Rogan
would you
show?
pull your dick out in front of a monkey?
That's also a good point.
Fucked up, man. No.
It's just like the small little like capuchin monkey, like from Monkey Trouble
They're
and shit.
fucking
like that,
strong, bro. Like, and they're smart.
It's all
Okay.
me and my brother. Like we've had, like growing up, we had every type of animal you could think of. We brought in every fucking stray you can think of. We had lizards, snakes, spiders, anything my mom would allow us to bring through the front door. So this is just an extension of us reliving our childhood and being a part of something that me, my dad, and my brother all have in common, because we are 3 of the most unlikely fucking people to be in a family and to come from one person. We have nothing except for our love for animals.
Okay, yeah. So
Amazing.
yeah, and if you caught any of that, that is like a great reason to go to Patreon, so we can replace RN's like spotty fucking mic too. By the way, if you guys are liking this,
I don't know
it's
what
clacking in and out. God damn! Buy one of his goddamn monkeys so we can get this dude a decent mic.
please do.
Can you believe we almost missed out on that whole
I
conversation
know.
just by me reminding you about the kennels? Like, come on.
We almost didn't get the monkey. We're gonna just We're just gonna
Oh,
post the
man.
monkey clip on YouTube.
Please,
That's the only clip.
do
that we
Please
have.
clip
Yeah.
the shit out of that. And send it
Oh,
to
man,
me.
I am definitely going to do that. But yeah, go over to Patreon and catch SmackDraw's other show, Spank the Monkey. So there we go.
That's definitely that's gonna be a show. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, man.
That was fun.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
man.
Hey,
Gonna-
Jay, anything that you want to mention before I give all the plugs out?
No, I'll let you you take all the credit and do all the work. But this was really, really fun, boys. This is hard. We're gonna have a tough time topping this one, and we're only the first one in. So thanks for that. It was impressive.
We're bringing the heat.
We are
Bringing it.
bringing the heat.
Bring the
Yeah,
heat.
man. Hey, look, dude. Let's make it like a monthly tradition just to hop on each other's
Oh,
stuff.
You,
yeah.
you don't gotta twist our arm into,
Yeah,
into
exactly,
a Kimura lock.
But we
Yeah.
no topics planned. It all has to be random.
Yeah.
That's all it can be, right? Yeah,
That's the best
yeah.
shows.
All right. Before we get out of here, I will say that if you want to follow us, we are at WWTT Pod on Twitter and Instagram. We're also Wrestling with the Truth on Facebook, and we are Wrestling with the Truth on YouTube. And we're steadily climbing on YouTube, so feel free to go over and subscribe. I'll reiterate what Kyle said. We would greatly appreciate a 5-star review on any of the audio platforms, especially Apple. That comes in really handy as far as the algorithms. And of course, any 5-star reviews we will read out on the air and give a shout out to those folks. I think I'll be going over tonight and helping you guys out with one on yours. So maybe we can get a tip for tack going on there.
Sure.
Send us
But-
the link, Ben.
Yep, definitely. And just check us out on any audio platform that you have, and just come on, man, just go and support all these great podcasts. There are so many people that are doing great work out there, and I know the Smack Rock crew. Like I say, I'm not just blowing smoke. been a long time fan, and now that you guys are expanding and you're bringing more talent on there, that's fantastic. So best of luck to you guys with that.
Appreciate you.
Get over there and subscribe and hit up their YouTube, hit up their Twitch and all that stuff. And on that note, I will say for the Kai Tai Show and for Mr. 8984 and for the Nightmare J. Myers, I am BC Hunter saying that we are out of here.
I got nothing this week.
Brutal.
I got nothing.
I'm just pointing to this where it says dick.
Monkey.
I was wondering what that was.
It says dick on this flannel. over
At
here.
first, I thought it was Dickies, and then I realized there was no
No,
end
it's
to
a
that. It was
fucking
just dick.
terrible costume. Like I ran out of money, so I found this like really fucking Dick's. Hold on. Where is it? There we go. Dick's Morning Wood.
Shape of a dick. That's awesome.
This fucking flannel.